Erik Halterman of RotoWire here with 6 players to pick up this weekend, starting with Junior Caminero, third baseman for the Rays and the number 2 prospect here at RotoWire. He played 7 major league games late last season, which made him an interesting sleeper during drafts this year, but quad issues meant he didn't get to make his season debut, at least at the big league level, until this past week. Caminero might not run a ton, but he should be a strong 4-category contributor at his peak. Scouts like his hit tool and they love his power tool. In 53 AAA games this season, Caminero had an 828 OPS and 13 homers. Now, he just turned 21 last month, so there's plenty of growth still ahead of him. Don't expect the next 6 weeks of Junior Caminero to be peak Junior Caminero just yet, but he should have plenty of playing time down the stretch so that the Rays can figure out what he can do. And if he hits the ground running right away, could be a big boost in the final 6 weeks of the regular season. Up next, we've got Alex Call, outfielder for the Nationals, who had shown flashes at the major league level before, at least enough to make him interesting for deeper fantasy leagues, but he was stuck in the minors for almost all of the first half this season. He got his opportunity after the Nationals dealt outfielders Jesse Winker and Lane Thomas at the deadline. Call is now an everyday player. He's made 13 straight starts in right field as of recording, moving up to first or second in the batting order lately. Call's hitting .414 with a 1055 OPS since his call-up, but that is not going to remain. He's got a 500 BABIP during that stretch. Once Call's luck fades, he'll be maybe more of a league average hitter, but the playing time will still be there, and the chances to run will be there. That's really the reason I'm recommending him here. Call's already 3 for 4 on the base pass, and the Nationals have run more than any other team this season. Remember, even Jesse Winker was running. If he was running, why not Alex Call, who at least has league average speed? Up next, we've got Jhonkensy Noel of the Guardians. It was an extreme power over hit prospect, really power over everything. 80 grade raw power, but a bad hit tool, no speed, no defensive value either. You can see it in his small sample stat line. He's got a 298 on base percentage, but a 598 slugging percentage through Friday's games. Noel initially only seemed to have a short slide platoon role, which made him tough to grab in fantasy leagues, even despite that real power. But lately, thanks to some strong performances, he's moved into an everyday role in right field, it seems. This is a flawed player, certainly. 31% strikeout rate and a 4% walk rate. That doesn't usually work, but it comes with a 17% barrel rate for Noel. That's enough power to make it work despite some very real flaws. 9 homers in 94 plate appearances for Noel. If you prorate that to a full season, 600 plate appearances, we're talking 57 homer power. This is the time of year to start thinking about specific categories. If you're in a roto league and if power is what you need, Jhonkensy Noel will give you power. On the mound, let's start with Zebby Matthews, or Daniel Zebulon Matthews, to use his full name, of the Minnesota Twins. Just made his MLB debut against the Royals, went 5 innings, gave up just 2 runs on 5 hits, 5 strikeouts, and no walks. Matthews began the year in high A, but seems to have a chance to finish the year in the rotation for a contender in the Twins, with Joe Ryan possibly done for the year with a shoulder strain. Chris Paddock also out for a while with a forearm strain. Matthews, a command-first profile, a 1.9% walk rate in the minors to go along with a 30% strikeout rate. That led to a 2.60 ERA and an 0.87 whip. Some questions about how that command-first profile is going to work against the highest level of hitters in the world, but through one start, it's gone well. There's a ton of upside here in Matthews, who's a fast-rising prospect on a winning team in a soft division. Speaking of winning teams in a soft division, how about Matthew Boyd, who just made his season debut for the Guardians, also in that AL Central. Boyd is nowhere near as exciting as some of the injury returnees we've had in recent weeks, Clayton Kershaw and Robbie Ray. He's no Jacob deGrom either, who we could get back a few weeks from now, but Boyd at his peak was quite interesting. Had a 30% strikeout rate and 6% walk rate back in 2019, although his ERA 4.56 was nothing special due to some bad luck that season. Since that year, Boyd has a 4.92 ERA and a 1.31 whip while battling injuries. Hasn't made more than 15 starts in a season. Eventually led to Tommy John surgery, which he's just returning from now, but he looked good in his first start back. Against the Cubs, he went 5 1/3, gave up 1 earned run on 3 hits, 6 strikeouts, and no walks. Not sure that Boyd is going to be more than a quality back-end starter, maybe a reliable mid-rotation guy, but the Guardians have been getting the most out of their pitchers lately. Matthew Boyd should have a good chance of wins while pitching for a team with the best record in the American League, and again, a very friendly division. So go pick up Matthew Boyd. If you need saves, Seranthony Domínguez is the name to know. He could be the closer in Baltimore. If he's not the closer, he's at very least the committee leader. Craig Kimbrell hasn't had a save since before the All-Star break. Domínguez now has the Orioles' last 2 saves. Domínguez didn't look like closer material with the Phillies before he was dealt at the deadline. He had a 4.75 ERA. 25.5% strikeout rate was good, but not closer material. But in 9 innings with the Orioles, just 1 earned run and a 30% strikeout rate. Domínguez is no stranger to the 9th inning. He had 16 saves as a rookie back in 2018 with a 32% strikeout rate that year, 2.95 ERA, 0.93 WHIP. Injuries, including a pandemic-delayed Tommy John surgery, messed with Domínguez over the next few years, but this isn't an unprecedented level of performance for him. If he looks like the best version of himself down the stretch, he could well make the 9th inning his own for one of the best teams in the entire league. For more names, check out the Saturday edition of the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast with me and Ryan Boyer.